it's Christine here with another episode of the Co-Living Code. This time it is in Bali. Look at that background. I was just there earlier this year. So I think you guys get the award for like the best background so far on this show. So
thank you.
Congrats. I have Guy and Renat, and they are opening up their co-living home in Bali actually in just a couple weeks. So we're really excited to get them on for an interview because they actually have experience doing this kind of on a grassroots level. They were jumping around and they'll tell the story. They were in 3 different countries jumping and just doing it in a very organic way of curating an amazing group of people and, you know, living and working together. Renat founded Lifestyle Engineering, and so he's definitely going to talk about that too, because I know a lot of our viewers, they're all about designing the most amazing life, and then you guys already know that I'm all about lifestyle design. So let's start there. Renat, you want to go ahead and explain, you know, you started back in 2015 with Lifestyle Engineering. We just would love to hear more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having us on the show. Lifestyle engineering, to me, it actually started not even in 2015, but it started when I was a kid. I was born in Moscow, Russia, and that's where I grew up. That's where I went to school. And the problem I had when I was growing up, the fact that I actually didn't have like-minded people around me. I had this ambition, and when I would share the ambition with others, people were like, yeah, cool. You know, nothing, no action, no implementation. There were many dreamers that wanted to have everything, but they didn't do much, right? And I thought, hey, I will find people that I want to surround myself with. They're just like me, that put their dreams into action and that put that action into reality. So I set off on a journey to find similar people, and lifestyle engineering specifically was a mindset that I had in building my own life, that we put together on paper as one community. And it's more than a community. It's a mindset. It's a mindset of using the most effective planning tools that we have in the world, which are used usually with engineering projects. The most complex things are engineering projects. This laptop, anything is pretty much engineering. And without good planning, you cannot have good products. You cannot have good results. So I deconstructed the kind of engineering pillars, and we came to analyze, design, and implement. And I'm happy to share a little bit more about each one of those pillars. But the idea is, instead of saying, hey, this is what I want, this is what my dream is, here's what my ideal lifestyle is, we're going to say, we do not know what we want. We're going to use a scientific method, and we're going to say, okay, well, here's me. I feel good sometimes. I feel bad sometimes. Let's try to figure out what my life's mission can be. And you use the iteration that is used usually in like software development in order to find your true self. And that's the essence of lifestyle engineering: getting good data, planning, and execution.
I love it. And your website, so Guy already told me that you did your website. It's beautiful. Like, love your website. So Guy, so why don't you talk about, you know, I know before we started, you guys were telling me a little bit about how you guys were jumping around before and kind of doing this on a different level. Why don't we talk about, you know, how you started that, how you found the people, and how it worked out?
100%. So it's, so as Renat said, the lifestyle engineering group, because originally lifestyle engineering was a community and still is, like a small mastermind of like 30 people, has been existing for like 3 years. And what happened is that on myself, Renat has been nomadic for like what, 3.5 years? And I became nomadic for around like 2 years ago. And so 2 years ago, or 1 year and 8 months, I decided to take on my nomadic journey. And the first stop was Barcelona, where there was an event called Bali University. And Renat and I went there, and we bought the tickets. It was 2 weeks before the event. And we realized, damn, housing is very expensive. So we posted in the events group, and we're like, hey, who of you guys is looking for housing? And we had like 20 people comment. And the fact that we had 20 people comment, we realized we're not the only ones having this problem. So we decided to turn a problem into an opportunity, hired a virtual assistant, found a listing of like 10 spaces that can host like a minimum 10 people. And we opened up a co-living space. So it was like kind of a rush, like everything came together. We flew in with like, you know,
like cash, and withdrew everything last minute, and it was like a total mess. And I wasn't even sure if the deal's gonna go through, but at the end, it did go through, and we opened up a house, and we had 15 amazing, loving people coming together and living for a month. And that was like the start of the co-living spaces and the start of lifestyle engineering spaces. And then over the next year, we continued traveling. It was a side project. Sometimes we lived together, and when we did that, we did open a space again. So we did open one in Tulum, and then we continued traveling. And it was during the last 3 months that we decided to go to Barcelona again, and here things started picking up because it was consistent, because we started implementing best practices, because we started really having values and started impacting people's life profoundly. And now we're at the stage where we decided to put our efforts into this project so that we truly can impact people and we can truly help people explore themselves through the lifestyle engineering mindset and through co-living.
That's great. And then do you guys have any set masterminds, or what kind of things do you guys implement like when you're living in the home?
Yeah.
That's a great question. In fact, we do not consider our houses necessarily co-living, and Guy can talk about that. But in terms of what we are doing with the people and what we actually empower people to do, our concept or one of our values is duocracy. It's execution, it's taking action. We believe that people transform not by going to a workshop, not by listening to somebody else tell them something, but by actually doing stuff. So we do have guidelines for hosting events. We have pre-set up events where people can like paint, draw, play music, do all the other stuff. But the core of it is, if you want something, you take action. And we create an environment that encourages people to take action, so much so that they actually do their first event. You know, they actually do try to teach a skill for the first time, you know, and just explore what is possible. So we do have something that's called Learn. It's like LE Earn Learn hours, where people can host different events. And the type of people we have, they're pretty successful in terms of like what they do, in terms of their approach, interests. So there's so much that everybody learns just on day-to-day basis.
So I think one thing to clarify here, and I love to like share it right now, and you touch points on that. The whole point, what we want to do, right, is help people explore themselves, help people like create their ideal lives. How do we do that? People come in and they have a specific intention. For example, I want to find happiness, or I want to find my next passion, or I want to like whatever it is. So what we do is we give them a structure to explore themselves. We tell them, okay, this is your intention. So the only events that we host is just intention setting. So we have like every Monday, we share our like intentions and we conclude them with every Sunday. A part of that, we just give people the space to fulfill those intentions. And then we're all about empowering people to truly explore themselves and go through like radical self-expression. And so that means we have a space. And if this person, for example, wants to explore, if his or her intention is to explore like her next coaching business, then take that stage and host your coaching workshop on Monday for like Men's Circle, and on Wednesday for like this different topic, and just explore yourself. And so we're not content creators. We empower the community to create their own content.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yes. And hence the whole idea is co-living is a side product of what we do. What we do is creating structures for transformational experiences. And co-living is part of it. Events is part of it. And it goes all under helping people exploring themselves and finding themselves.
I love it. I can like feel the passion come through. This is awesome. I love what you guys are up to. So with this Bali house that you guys are opening up, how many people will be living together in that house?
Up to 12.
Okay.
We got a plot of land, 2 villas, 3 bedrooms in each, and people can stay together if they choose to, or they can get their whole room. And we experimented with different formats. We had up to 20 people in our houses.
which was a big mess.
Yeah.
It was cool.
So we had co-living experiences starting at like literally 4 people, us and like 2 friends, and we had up to 20. We found that the best format is 10 to 12.
Okay. That's a number I've heard often. So that sounds like a magical number. There's some houses with 30 people right now. Just crazy.
I mean, the key is to create an environment where people feel comfortable and intimate. So it's hard to do that when you're 20 people and everybody moves out every 3 days. It's really hard to create it. On the other side, if you're only 4 people, then you're missing stimulation. And we want people to be stimulated. We want like to have difference and people to be exposed to different things. So around, 10 to 12.
And then what's the minimum stay? Like, is it a month? Is it, how long are you guys having them commit for the Bali house?
Definitely. So far, it's the idea for people to connect. What we saw is like the best thing is if people stay for a month. I think that's what you do also with kind of headquarters, right? It's like on a monthly basis. On the other side, not everybody can free themselves for a month. Like sometimes you have people who can just like come for 2 weeks, or sometimes you have people who just like want to come for 1 week. So we do have, well, at least in the past, we did have people who stayed for less. The goal though is to have a balance between those and to make sure that if people come, they can feel integrated and they can feel intimate.
The reason I was laughing right now is because people come sometimes for 2 weeks. We had a person who came for 2 weeks. She stayed for 2 weeks, quit her job, and stayed with us for like the next like 2 months. That's how crazy it was.
Right, and then we have like those 2 other guys who also came for like a couple of days, and then they stayed for like a month and a half. So thing is, we do allow people to stay for like a week or 2. Eventually, it turns out that maybe they stay longer.
No. And I'm laughing with you guys because the same exact thing happens on that side, right? They stay and they don't think they'll be there that long, and then they keep extending, and we love it as long as it doesn't get booked ahead of them, and that happens too. But also the opposite, where it's like somebody that probably maybe lived with you guys somewhere else is like, hey, I just really want to be there. I'm there for 2 weeks. Like, of course, like they're your buddy. Like you're gonna let them stay for just 2 weeks and like, break the rule of the monthly thing. But and that's what we've been doing lately. I'm like, oh, I really want them to move in. So, it's the flexibility, I guess. Right.
Definitely. And I guess like, our goal as hosts is to really empower people. So if there's somebody that we can empower for a couple of days or for a week, and if it makes sense and it's in accordance to our values, then it could happen. But the main intention is to bring people together for a bit longer term, more also because in a couple of days, you won't have the time to explore yourself. So
that is true. Just to add a little other kind of nugget that we figured out for ourselves, it's important to have freedom for people. It needs to feel like home. And in my home, I want to be able to invite anybody I want, when I want. So what we did in Barcelona is we allocated a whole room as a guest room, and people can stay, friends of friends can stay up to 2 days for free, no questions asked. We just ask them to check in with us ahead of time and make sure that the person they're bringing aligns with our values that we put out there. But other than that, it's been magical. And the funny thing is, people who stayed there for just a day or 2, they ended up staying for a whole month, because they see how it goes,
And they get to experience it firsthand, right? That's so cool. Yeah, no, we see it all the time, and it's really fun. And it's fun to have like we call them alumni, like the alumni come back, like, okay, we're coming back out. That's really cool. Cause you guys are committing to how long will you have the Bali house running for? Just indefinitely? Did you guys sign a lease?
Our intention is to open this house long term and to settle this as the first base, like not structured, but like local base for the lifestyle engineering house. And over the next 3 months, we'll see. It's going to be a big experiment to see how we can grow, how we can like empower the local Ubud community here, and what comes out of it. And the point is, again, we're all about empowering people. And I'm looking at other organizations who grow because people are so inspired that they're opening their own hub, so they're spreading the thing. And I'm really curious to see over the next 2 or 3 months, if we do it right, and I think we do, and we will, how people will react, and having people who feel empowered to maybe take the seed and bring it somewhere else. So
nice, because you
I'm
guys
really
are
curious
looking
to see
at
how we're
other
gonna grow
countries.
within the community.
Is there any targeted countries, like you guys are saying, okay, Bali, great, that's gonna be our first one. Like, where else do you guys want to go back to? Barcelona? Where are some really fun spots you guys are thinking about?
I think we have different criteria. For me, it's important to have certain infrastructure. I want to have fast internet. In fact, here in Bali, I work more than I work sometimes in super busy cities like San Francisco. You know, we come here not to just chill on the hammock and like, you know, do the nomad thing, swim by the pool. We're here to transform our businesses, ourselves, and we're very serious about it. And people who come to our houses are also very serious about it. So we're not here just like to have fun. So fun is important, but it goes so much beyond that. We cannot just get on a remote island necessarily and just hang out there and, you know, without internet and like meditate and do like bonfires. So some locations we're definitely opening up a house in Barcelona. It just everything brings us back to Barcelona. It's such a magical
We love that
place.
city. Like,
Yeah.
the city is magical. Yeah.
One
I kind of fell along.
One house will be in California as well.
Yeah.
Most likely close to either LA area or San Francisco area.
Perfect.
Yep.
We're thinking about keeping a house in Tulum. Tulum is just a magical place. We spend there 6 months doing co-living as well. And there's Costa Rica on the map. There's Buenos Aires on the map as well. We have some people who love kite surfing, myself included. So might be opening up a space at like a kite surfing hub.
Nice.
Yeah. And the idea is to have a house in different locales, in different continents. One in Europe, one in Asia, one in North America, one in South America, one in Central America. Who knows?
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I know you guys are going to pull it off for sure. So it's going to be exciting to watch, because then, you know, then your members can just jump around, you know, and just like, you just build that, the community you've already built. Now you give them that opportunity to travel the world and to be like plugged into like an actual amazing house.
Yes. So one thing that we are very cautious about, and I realized the reason why we decided to, or the reason why co-living for us, or let's say intentional co-living, has been working out for us, is because we focus on the community. We put people first. So we put their transformation first. We focus on the people, and the rest follows. The co-living follows, the house follows. And I think the biggest challenge, and that's our main also mission, is to build strong communities. What I believe, or what I'm seeing, is that you have a trend to take co-living simply as a real estate industry project, which to us, it's not. It's a people project. It's an experience. We're hosting experiences. We're not renting out places. We're experience hostess. And the biggest challenge now, or not the biggest challenge, but what would be interesting to see is, here we're going to be focusing on the community, on building out the community, and whatever place we take, whether Costa Rica, Los Angeles, etc., we'll have the same approach, like putting people first, and the houses will open as a side consequence.
No, I wrote that. It's like a people project. Like, that's such a great way to look at it. And let's talk about that, because you're right. And I think there's two camps in this world. And I'm kind of like, you know, because I talk to so many people in co-living and it's like, I'm kind of in the middle of everything, because it is becoming like a real estate developer play. You know, there's some huge real estate development companies coming into the game, and they're putting the label of co-living on, you know, a 380 unit building. But it's like, well, how much are they really co-living with intention? Or do they just go into their studio suite, order takeout food or Uber Eats, and they never see each other, they never hang out? But then that's being called co-living. And then there's co-living on more of a deeper connection, like you're all under the same roof, you're in this bumping into each other in the kitchen. So, you know, it's these two worlds that some people are very passionate about. Like, one is better than the other. Like, again, to me, you know, like, it's interesting to watch this new industry like come up and just to see that. So I guess that's my question is, what are your guys' thoughts when it comes to that label being put on different type of aspects, and maybe they're not putting people first, they're putting the real estate first.
I love what you just said. And, you know, I believe that we're at the era where everything is so decentralized, where people, individuals are empowered more than ever with like blockchain, just infrastructure, anything. You can open up a business in Estonia within 24 hours on the internet, being here in Bali, for example. And uh, same, very similar trend I will see with corporations. I don't think they are hands-on enough to be able to build the type of experience that people will appreciate. If I had a co-living project with, for example, 300 units, the way I would do it is I would think about, okay, how can I create connection at scale? Okay, then I'll need to build like probably select groups of people that can interact and function efficiently. Well, we know from organizational management that 6 to 8 people is the perfect team size. And that's what they use in the Navy SEALs. That's what they use in the development teams in the Silicon Valley. So what I would do is I would create separate houses, villas where people can live in this 6 to 8 person units. And then there happens the connection. Never 300 unit all coming together on like getting a hotel. It's just not a good idea to do co-living with, because it's just not going to work. That's what I would do. Again, I would just think about what is co-living, how do people connect, what do we know from history, what do we know from like existing sciences, existing knowledge that we got out there, and how can we put it in practice. And honestly, even to think that way, people need to experience co-living themselves. And big organizations, like take a big CEO, I don't think they have, and I don't think they will. So
No, that's great. Renat, so do you have a background in engineering? Because you'd think of everything from like that perspective. It's amazing. What's your background?
well, my background is a curious person. That's all I am. I'm an explorer, and I'm just fascinated by sciences. I'm fascinated by human behavior specifically. Professionally, I do marketing, but marketing by itself, I want to see how it fits in the big picture as well. So I studied artificial intelligence a little bit in the Silicon Valley. I take online classes, and I do something that I call like 30-day challenges, where I take 1 month to learn a skill, like from the very beginner level to a good enough level where I can converse with an expert, and understand them really well.
That's cool. That's awesome. Cool.
I would love, if you don't mind, I would love just to add like 30 seconds to your former question about the co-living and the trends. Namely, when we came here to Bali, we visited like the places, and we went to like a bunch of co-living spaces. And what you just mentioned is like you have two camps. What I'm seeing, one camp is seeing it as real estate. So we went to this place, big building, 40 units, 30 units, whatsoever. We come in, nobody even says hi. The other place, small, 10, 12, maybe 15 people, and literally you feel so welcome. You're just like, wait, where am I? Like, how come I have the honor to be welcomed here? So the issue that I'm seeing is that a lot of people start using co-living as a term for just a bunch of people together, for just putting a bunch of people together. And I don't think that this is what co-living should be, or what co-living has the potential to become. And co-living, in fact, should be rethought. And that's why what we do, we don't call it co-living, we call it intentional co-living, because we thought about like, why are we doing it in the first place? It's not to just put a bunch of people together, it's to transform people. And so from that intention, we think about the experience we're going to create, think about the house we're going to take, we think about the number of people we're going to take. And it's not about co-living itself, but it's about the experience that brings to it. And it doesn't have to be transformational. Other spaces like here, where the beautiful space called Hustlers Villa, their intention is professional growth and focus. And it's a different intention, but this is how they think too. They set the intention first. So I think at the end, you're going to have two camps. You're going to have those who set intentions, who are going to build strong communities, who are really going to create a lot of values. And the others who are like trying to expand real quick, but people are going to go there and just realize, well, it's actually not that cool of an experience. And I just hope that they're gonna rethink why they're doing it in the first place.
No, that's so, I know that originally you guys were like, oh, can we both do this interview together? And I'm like, no, absolutely. Cause we did one other interview with 2 people in it. And you guys really, it flows really well. I love it. Like I'm glad you guys both took the time to answer that question. Good job, you guys. And then it's a great lead into my last question, which is, where do you guys see the future of co-living? You know, where's it going in your personal opinion? I know it's a deep question. Who's going first?
All right, I'm done to go first.
Okay.
Number one, I think it's going to, right now we're at the beginning, meaning co-living is getting to be known as a word. There's still a big burden in terms of like people joining, because nobody has, like most people haven't done it yet. So it's a big step to actually like leave your place and be like, I'm going to live with like 15 people I don't know. So I think we're at the very beginning, but people start understanding or start seeing the value of it. I think that in the next like 5 years, we're going to be at a stage where we're passing the early adopter phase, we're going to enter the early adopter phase where people who like would have been reluctant beforehand will start thinking about it, where it's going to become part of where people will understand why co-living exists in the first place. And you know, the trend is Airbnb, right? There's less ownership. It's more about sharing resources. And so I think co-living has the potential to reinvent the way we live. And this is why personally I'm doing it. And I think that Renat can share about that as well.
Awesome.
For me, that's a way deeper question than it might seem kind of on the surface. I don't like thinking about just one industry. I like seeing how everything interrelates. I believe that the reason we see co-living right now is because that's how long it takes for people to adopt the internet, to be comfortable meeting people on the internet, traveling around the world. That's why we see so many digital nomads going places, working, right? And then being digital nomad actually is a pretty new thing. It hasn't been a generation. It's been just like, 10 years since it became popular.
Yeah.
And when people started traveling together, some people started, not having enough connection, not having the things that living is about, right? So they want to create suitable living environments for themselves. So they started, coming together, and then small gaps of co-living started like opening up, like the stuff we're doing for fun or the stuff other people are doing. I believe that because of technology, because of extreme automation, and because of the way the jobs in the world are shifting to the knowledge economy, what we're going to see is people that will want to come together to connect. Again, there will be in the exponential expansion or intelligence explosion that we're going to see, we'll need to connect more. Social media makes us disconnected in certain ways, right? And this human experience, that's what the people are going to crave. And I believe in the world of technology, in the world of machines, co-living is going to be another way to go back tens of thousands of years ago and see how people lived before. And people lived before in small tribes where people supported each other, where people hunted together, coexisted together, started businesses together, or in those moments went to hunt a mammoth, or like actually they didn't because they lived way before humans. It's a side thing. That's my opinion. I think we're in the deceptive stage of growth with co-living. Deceptive because we do not know what's going to happen, and I think there is going to be an explosion of people living together.
Very, very well said. And I'm glad you talked about the technology piece. I think because I spend my whole day working on our platform, I always forget to talk about the tech, which is important. So I love that you guys had the Facebook Messenger like set up. When I clicked on your website, I was so ecstatic to see like a Facebook bot, that you guys, but you put intention behind it of like, okay, here's a very easy way for me to contact them, connect, and I'm like, wow, these guys get it. Like, what other software components did you guys need to put together or use?
I love that you said that. And for us, again, when we started this was just a fun project. We just love hanging out with people, and then we realized that some of the best moments in our lives, they came from living together. With that said, it meant that, like, I have a marketing company, like I was working on so many other things. It meant that we needed to create processes, and processes where people have a great customer experience, but something that functions on its own. So we took our knowledge from like the marketing company we're running or from other brands, and we started colliding those ideas, those areas together. And what other software do we use? We use, we'll send you a welcome page that you can check out. We have shared calendars where people can put events that they're hosting or they're going to be attending, so that others can participate and join.
It's on Google Calendar.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a Google Calendar, and people can submit. Okay, so then all of them are showing. Okay, so
yeah, we use some like just basic things, add-ons. We use like Google Forms where people set their intentions, and those intentions they show so that others can see. Oh,
Google spreadsheets, like for example for the guest room, where then people can like put in like the name of the guest.
that's right.
The whole goal, and for us, is always thinking, when does it make sense to improve a process or to create a one in order to free like time and to just make it functional. And what's going to be beautiful about the next months is really figuring out even more processes and seeing how we can automate and make it fluent, so that if we want to open a space in Costa Rica, Los Angeles, we're like, yo, we have a model, we take it, we can replicate it.
I love that.
Just to add the final thought, what I notice is that if something is more difficult to do, if something has just more walls, more obstacles, a lot of the times that means it's not going to be done. Like if people need to go on Facebook, go here, go there, everything is kind of all over the place, experience is going to change. And I believe bringing it under one roof, putting software pieces together, making it easy for people to participate in the co-living experience, having them have ownership in what's being built is really important. And for that, we want voting, we want discussions, we want possibly open finances or ways to split costs, pay for things. It's super important. With co-living, expenses or finances are a mess.
Yeah, I know. Especially if you ran a house with like 20 people in there. I can't even imagine, because even with our 5 people, it's like, oh, the automation, it gets a little crazy, right? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, you guys. Well, this was such an amazing interview, and with such an amazing background. Now you guys are making me want to go to Bali again. And
opening the house
the birds in the background like chirping, and I'm like, I want to be in Bali. So yes, you guys are amazing.
Don't come. It's a rain season.
Look how pretty. Is it really raining? Is it a bad season right now?
Well, technically speaking, we don't mind. It's like but we want fewer people. Like other people should think it's a rain season.
Oh, okay, because then you're right. It gets pretty crowded there. So, well, thank you both so much for doing this interview. Can't wait to see your guys' expansion, your success, and just you guys working, with people and making this a community that everybody wants to be a part of. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina. Thank you everybody for watching this.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.